Welcome back to the Green Beans Go channel. It's your host, me, and I am excited to be breaking down another Monday Night Football primetime matchup between the New York Giants and the, who are they playing? Yes, I'm trolling, guys. The Seattle Seahawks come to town across the country to face the struggling G-Men, and I am here to hopefully provide you with an unbiased, yes, I'm going to try my best to be unbiased in this one, report of this game. Now, before we get started with that, guys, this candle can be replaced at 500 subscribers. Right now, I'm at 496. 4 people watching this are not going to be subscribed. Please hit that subscribe button so we can get some false sense up in this place. For my next video, I'm begging you, hit that subscribe button now. The Seahawks come to town in what I think should actually be an exciting game for the fans, because we haven't seen a ton of that on prime time. It's going to be played at MetLife Stadium, which is interesting because this is the Giants' third primetime game this year out of 4 games. I don't know what Roger Goodell was thinking. He clearly was not with this team. This is also the 4th game at MetLife Stadium. This is the 2nd time this year in 4 weeks that they've gone back-to-back at MetLife. Okay, they did it Sunday night, Monday night in week 1, and now they did it Sunday night, Monday night in week 4. So that turf should be really ready to go, warmed up. Excited for this one. Perfect weather. Looking at the schedule so far this year for both of these teams, the thing that jumps off the page at me right now for the Seahawks is their points allowed. They allowed 30, 31, and 27. 27 coming to a backup quarterback at Seattle. The team had like 8 false starts, and they still put up 27 points on them. So that is a problem for the Seahawks defense, and we'll talk about it in a second. As for the Giants, a much harder strength of schedule. They have Dallas in week 1. They get skunked. They have Arizona where they're down 20-some to 0, and they end up coming back and winning that game. And they lose to San Francisco on Thursday last week. Again, this schedule, there's 2 teams that are probably going to be competing for a shot at the Super Bowl, and the Cardinals, who beat one of these teams. Now, I think we have to be careful in this one because of the schedules that these 2 teams have played. In my ESPN Pick'em Challenge this week, I'll throw that up right now, I had a fantastic week. And what I used to pick a lot of these games was, what games have they played in, and where are people overreacting to those games? Right now, I think there could be an overreaction on the points Seattle's put up and the record that Seattle has versus how hard the Giants' schedule has been. So I don't honestly mind a little Giants action in this one. I think that's where the value is. So looking at the numbers and the value, as you see, Seattle is minus 125. When the news of Saquon Barkley not playing in this one came out, it didn't really move the line at all, so it must have been already cooked into the books. If you like the Giants, Caesars is your best place to take them. DraftKings not far behind. The spread is 1.5 or 2 depending on the shop. So if you like the Giants, take the 2 and vice versa for Seattle. And then finally, the over-under is set at 47.5. Now, typically this is where I say I don't see value, but I do think this is a game where we could see the over. I know it's prime time. I know how that goes. We always see unders in prime time, but these are 2 struggling defensive teams, and I think this is an opportunity to see it go over 48 points. Getting now into my scripts and my leans. Seattle injury news. We have 2 cornerbacks that are injured in this game and 2 offensive linemen. Now, we do get some defensive guys back. We do get a cornerback, and we do get Jamal Adams back, which I think will help this defense, but we're still not at full capacity. Now, for the Giants, obviously Saquon Barkley's out. They're also missing their best tackle tonight, hopefully, right? So something to keep your eye on. Over here for Seattle, what I need you to recognize is they are allowing 29 points a game, 400 yards per game, and 100% red zone touchdown scoring. That is horrible. Every time a team has crossed the 20-yard line for Seattle, they have scored a touchdown on them. That is awful. Okay, they can't just keep that in mind as we go into this game. Jamal Adams returns, however, for the Seahawks, a good leader on that defensive side of the ball. He has not played since game 1 of last year, where he got injured for the rest of the season, and this is also his first game back at MetLife Stadium. Now, he didn't play for the Giants. He did play for the Jets, but I think it'll be an emotional time, a time that he's going to want to come out and perform well. The last thing I want to point out is Seattle has been awful on 3rd down, both on the offensive side of the ball and on the defensive side. They're allowing teams to convert over 50% of the time, and Seattle's not converting higher than 35% of the time. That's not a good recipe. They're also one of the most penalized teams in the NFL. So that is why I am concerned with this Seahawks team, and I am not incredibly optimistic that this will be a blowout in favor of the Seahawks. Now, looking at the Giants, The only thing that makes the Seahawks side better is looking at the side of the Giants, who are allowing 32 points per game, 360 yards per game, and an average of 2 rushing touchdowns. So if you want to find a defense worse than Seattle, look no further than the team they are playing. That's why I think this over could be a realistic shot tonight, because both of these defenses are struggling. Now, the good news for Seattle is the Giants have the 30th ranked passing offense. So tonight, forget the immovable object and unstoppable force. We have the super movable object and the object that won't move. What happens? Your guess is as good as mine. I think the Giants are able to move the ball better than they have all year, but we'll see. The last key piece of information for the Giants side is the last game they played was on Thursday. They got a little bit of a mini bye week, plus they got to rest Sunday. Like this is a big break for this team. So I think that bodes well for them. However, it doesn't bode well enough. I think Seattle's offense overpowers them late in the game, but I think it's close. I predict a 31-27 victory for the Seahawks. And finally, let's get into some bets I like. I will say this, I'm not endorsing any plays on these, but I do not hate the over, the Giants spread, anything Kenneth Walker related, and anything Giants receivers related. The reason I'm not giving picks for this is because I didn't see any value that just jumped off the page at me. However, I will talk about a little bit of value I saw, and that is over here on this same game parlay. Now, I'm going to give you a little warning. I had a good weekend. I had a solid weekend betting, so I am going to be a little bit risky here. I'm going to enjoy this game. I'm going to do something more for fun rather than for professional value, whatever you want to call it, right? So if you don't want to tail this, I don't blame you at all. This is more for entertainment, more for fun. However, I do think Jackson Smith and Jigba has been quiet this year, and I think his wrist is probably the healthiest it's been all season. I think he knows the offense better than he has all season. DK Metcalf is banged up, so this is a perfect opportunity against a poor defense and what I predict to be a high-scoring game for him to find 40 yards and the end zone. I like both of those in terms of value. Paris Campbell is the highest targeted receiver on this team, and he has the most receptions on this team. His touchdown is sitting at 6-1. So against a team with banged up corners, against, again, a team that's going to allow a lot of points in the red zone, I like Paris Campbell to find the end zone at 6-1 odds. And finally, I think Brian Dable will have this team ready to go offensively. Without Saquon Barkley, they're going to have to get creative, and they're going to do that with Daniel Jones rushing. I firmly believe that this offensive line cannot hang up against the pass rush, so getting him outside the pocket will be key. He's going to be running all over the place, so give me his over 35.5 yards. Yes, I know this is a $10 ticket paying out over $1,000. Let's do it. Finally, guys, if you want to follow me on SoBet, I give out all kinds of promotions and picks. You can do so by going to SoBet, signing up, using my code GMG. That gives you not only access to my content, but all kinds of sports bettors content across the landscape. Check it out. Go ahead, $10 a month, much cheaper than people's Discord. So if that sounds interesting to you, go for it. That is all I have for you today. As always, if you like the content, a like, a subscribe, a comment go a long way. Drop in the comments who you think is scoring the first touchdown tonight. And if this video gets over 500 subscribers, I'll do something cool. Take care, and we'll see you next time.